Hello, welcome to my channel if you're for the first time. Welcome back if you've been following. Today, the dice is gonna choose. So, here's how it's gonna work. I have 6 books queued up. I picked ones that Libby actually has, so that I know no matter which ones I pick, I have them. I'm gonna assign each one a number. We're gonna roll the dice. We'll pick 2 for now. I also have book club book to read this week, so 3 books in 1 week is gonna be woo. We're gonna try that, but we don't know. 2 for now, and then hopefully. So here's how this works. Yes, I'm gonna assign a number. We're gonna roll the dice, see what happens. So the first one is The Help by Kathryn Stockett. Chose this one. Okay, so I googled literary fiction, because if you saw my last video, I was like, oh, any fiction. No, literary fiction is kind of a subgenre in fiction. So I decided to do it right, and I did literary fiction on Goodreads. So, number 1 on the dice would be The Help by Kathryn Stockett. I watched this movie, I think, the first time when I was visiting Georgia, and so I really liked it. The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald will be number 2. Again, watched the movie with my brother and cousin. Not a fan of the ending, but it was a good movie. The Fault in Our Stars. Again, most of these are just movies that I like, so I figured I'd try the book by John Green. Again, didn't really like the ending, but liked the movie. Jane Eyre. I've not seen this movie, but heard good things. I love Jane Austen, so I'm gonna watch it because I think it's here. That'll be number 4. Life of Pi will be number 5. This is actually one that I was supposed to read in high school, and I'm probably, guess what? I, for some reason, was like scared of this book, and I don't know why in high school. Like, I thought it was gonna be too intense, so I just read the synopsis. I've seen the movie since, and I'm like, okay, I think now that I'm an adult, I should try it. And then the last one will be Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. Will be number 6. So yeah, I can't believe I've never read Little Women, but I've heard good things. So, shall we roll? Roll the die. Let's see. Tap to roll.
2.
2, it said. So it's 2. The Great Gatsby. And
1.
1, The Help. Okay. Right? Yes. So, The Great Gatsby and The Help. I may not read them in that order, but they're both on there because I kind of really want to read The Help. So, yeah. The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald and The Help by Kathryn Stockett. So, excited to share my thoughts with you, and we'll see how they go. Okay. It's time to talk about the books that the dice have chosen. If you saw the beginning, I have this cool app that's called Spin the Wheel, and it has a wheel spinner, dice. It has fun ways, so I will probably be using it more to choose books. It might be the month of using that app. But I chose 2 books because life has been crazy. So I had like 6 or 7 books. I chose 2 of them. We're doing literary fiction this month. So to kind of, sorry, there's something in my nail and it's bugging me. It's fine. To pick these books, literally I'm like, literary fiction, Goodreads, and then it comes up with like a list of books. And the books I've chosen, I've seen a lot of the movies of these books. So the two that I were picked were The Help and The Great Gatsby. So, first one, The Help by Catherine Stockett. Basically, summary of this book. Skeeter is this woman who wants to be a journalist. She went to Old Miss. Yeah, Old Miss. Sorry. Two books, different colleges. And she decides to write this book about The Help, which is basically, this is back, big Martin Luther King, civil rights movement. So she wanted to interview maids and hear what it was like. Okay, and I'm sorry if this is not politically correct. What it felt like for a person of color to work for a white family. So I'm sorry if that's not politically correct. I don't know any other way to say it. But that's basically the premise of this book, is she goes around interviewing. The maids are hesitant at first because this is in Mississippi, and at that time there were actually laws against this, so they could all get in very big trouble if they were found out. There was some language in this book. I'm talking like profanity, but I'm not gonna say it, but the N-word is also used a little bit. So just saying, this book brings up some touchy subjects for some people, so keep that in mind. But excellent. I really think I watched this for the first time, like with my mom and grandpa when we were visiting them in Georgia, and I was like, oh, okay. Like, it's an interesting book, but just to see like the behind the scenes, and I do like it. Because I like how in this book they bring up the good and the bad, right? Some of the maids have good stories and some of the maids have the bad, and she just wanted it all. Because at first, Aibileen, she's kind of the main maid. She works for Miss Elizabeth, one of Miss Skeeter's friends. She's like, what if you don't like what I got to say? Right? Like, but Skeeter gets this idea essentially because she wants to work for this paper in New York. It's not the New York Times, but anyway, they're like, well, we really don't hire people right out of college. Like, if you want 5 years of experience, do that. But Mrs. Stein, the editor of the paper, likes her, but she's like, if you come up with a good idea. And so this was her idea. And yeah. So throughout the book, this book is told from multiple point of views. So it'll be like Skeeter, chapter 8. So you kind of, it really goes back and forth between Skeeter's point of view, Aibileen, who's one of the maids, like I said, for her friend Elizabeth, and then Minnie, who is a maid for Miss Cecilia. I like this book because, I mean, not back then they didn't, but today we have a social media world, right? And I think this book really brings out that if you were to look behind the scenes in people's life, you would see that it's not that perfect. That things happen. There are, and I'm sorry if this offends anyone, you just see a lot. Like, there are some parents who may not be very fond of their children. There are some people who have to go through really hard things like miscarriages and infertility, and you just get to see the behind the scenes of it all through The Help, because it's one of those premises that it's kind of like the janitor and secretary know everything, right? It's like the people behind the scenes that do things that nobody particularly pays attention to, that have the most information. And it's kind of one of those things. They keep it anonymous, obviously, right? The book is just called Help, and it's by Anonymous. Trying to think. That's the summary of the book. I did like the different points of view. Because I just think it helps the book flow. That sometimes it's annoying, but I did like the different points of view. The ending, you're just like, oh. So the ending, I won't say disappointing, but you're just like, oh, okay. Okay. Trying to think of what else I can say about this book. It was longer. It was a longer book. This one's like almost 500 pages. That is digitally though, so I don't know. So know that it is a longer book. But I like the diversity of characters. The other thing I would say, I maybe wish, I mean, you didn't get a lot. This book was mostly about females, right? Female maids, female white women. Which I guess I can understand, because based on that time, like, again, no offense to anyone, but I don't think the men really dealt with the maids. They might have said, get me a drink, get me that. But it was the women who dealt with the day-to-day, like telling the maids, this is what I need you to do, blah, 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 blah. There was one aspect of it, Skeeter kind of has a love story in it, and I just was like, what's the point? Because of the way it ended, you're just like, why did you bring this aspect into the story just to, I don't know. So maybe I would give it a 4.5 out of 5. Because, yeah, that love thing, you're like, okay, maybe a spoiler. They don't end up together, but you're like, why did you bring it in? I don't feel like it plays. And it's not that they didn't end up together. It's just that I don't feel like it played a significant part to the rest of the story. So were you just throwing it in to kind of have a romance in it? Because I don't think this was meant to be a romance. But, yeah. So that is The Help. The next one, The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. This is a story about a man named Jay Gatsby. It's told from the perspective of Nick, his neighbor. This is a very short read. I'm just gonna say sad story. This is one of those stories that just is sad. So be prepared for that when you read it. I don't know, like, it was good and I had seen the movie, which is why I wanted to read it, but I guess when I read a book, I want to be like, okay, what's the point of this book? I mean, I guess then I could guess, but I don't know. I guess I just wanted more from this book. And I guess because it is a short book, everything just happened so fast and it felt a little rushed. Like, the background, I don't know. I just feel like this would have been a really good story if they would have taken some more time. Because it just seems like they're neighbors, but all of a sudden he's getting invites to these parties, and then he's asking him to do favor. It just, like, and this is all in the span of like a summer. So it just seemed a little rushed. Still good though. I mean, I would still recommend it. Because it follows a small group of people, and I feel like, I don't know, like, you just like the characters. Well, besides maybe Tom, but well, I think at the end you don't really like Daisy either. But you can't like all the characters. But yeah, this guy meets him. There's love triangle. It's one of those. She wanted to be with this guy, but he was poor. But she married this guy. And then when faced with it, it was drama. But yeah, and by the end of it, Nick is just disgusted. Which I understand. So, that is The Great Gatsby. I would say 4 out of 5. It was still really good, but like I said, I wanted more. It was like with digitally 175 pages. I was not expecting that when it was chosen, but there it is. But yeah, The Great Gatsby. So, those are my thoughts. Thank you for listening to this the whole way through. The Dice Have Spoken, both good books, so go read them. I'm excited to step into literary fiction. And if you like this, please give it a big thumbs up. Please share it with anyone who maybe needs to know opinions about these books, particularly. If you're new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because why not? What better use of your time do you have to watching my videos? And don't forget to hit the notification button. Monday and Wednesday I do a children's book because I'm a preschool teacher, so I go through how to read it with your child. Saturday are books that I'm reading for myself. Sometimes I'll do a challenge. Most of the time I just do a fun way to pick a book or read a series. Those are my two favorite things. Do a fun way to pick a book or just read a series, because I'm one of these people who like to finish a book series. So a lot of my videos are either me picking books in a fun way or just saying, I'm going to read this series. And last but certainly not least, I would love to hear from you. Your opinions on these books, if you feel the same way I did, or if you feel differently. I'd love to hear your opinions on it, because sometimes, you know, opinions change your mind. Well, not change your mind, but they make you think about it in a different way. So I could be like, oh, okay, I can see where you're coming from. And then we are doing literary fiction all throughout November, so any books, any of your favorite literary fiction books would be welcome, and we'll see you next time. Bye.